Welcome to the Leadership Decoded podcast. Here, we give you practical tactics to help you lead at your very best at work and in your everyday life. I'm your host, Dr. Will Ramey, a former U.S. Army officer and combat veteran, a leadership development workshop facilitator, and executive education adjunct professor. Today, we're diving into a topic that affects every leader, decision-making, with a twist. We're going to get into how decision-making impacts your mental health and well-being. We're going to explore 5 different decision-making styles based on the research of Scott and Bruce. Whether you're leading a team or you're managing your own workload, understanding these different decision-making styles and the impact it has on your well-being is going to be a game changer for you. Let's dive in. This episode is brought to you by Sweat Tent, the industry leader of the portable at-home wood-burning sauna. Being a leader can be stressful. That's why I've been a sauna user for many years. Did you know that consistent sauna usage 3 to 4 times a week not only relieves stress and improves sleep, but it also enhances your physical well-being and fosters mental resilience and cognitive clarity to be a better leader? And you no longer have to go to a crowded gym or buy one of those expensive and bulky at-home setups to experience the benefits of a sauna. Sweat Tent is the most portable and affordable at-home sauna on the market. The setup takes minutes and can reach 200 degrees in under 30 minutes. Harness the power of the Sweat Tent sauna to lead with clarity and poise. Sweat out stress, ignite creativity, and emerge a more focused leader. All Leadership Decoded listeners will receive $100 off when you use code LEAD100. Visit sweattent.com today to get $100 off your purchase with code LEAD100 at checkout. Again, that's sweattent.com to get $100 off with code LEAD100. Sweat Tent, improving your ability to lead at work and in your everyday life. This episode is brought to you by C&G Tutoring. Founded by Janelle and Chris Seaton, C&G Tutoring is Northeastern Pennsylvania's leading tutoring service. Our experienced, state-certified tutors provide personalized, one-on-one sessions tailored to each student's unique learning style. From math and science to reading, writing, and even Spanish, we cover it all. We also offer top-notch SAT prep designed to help students sharpen the skills they need to achieve their goals on the SAT. Join the countless families who trust C&G Tutoring with award-winning educators and a 5-star parent rating. We offer in-person and virtual tutoring using 21st century learning techniques. Visit cngtutoring.com today and start your child's journey to academic excellence. C&G Tutoring, ignite your mind. This episode is brought to you by Fit AF. As a leadership coach, I understand the importance of fueling both body and the mind. Balancing coaching sessions, workshops, and personal development can be demanding, and that's where Fit AF steps in. Fit AF offers an ever-changing menu crafted by top chefs and nutrition experts to ensure you're getting the best quality meals. Their diverse selection caters to various dietary preferences and needs, including keto, paleo, vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free, and more. As a valued listener, enjoy an exclusive offer. Get 20% off your first order of 7 meals or more by using code LEADER at checkout at fitafnutrition.com. Again, that's code LEADER for 20% off your first order of 7 meals or more at fitafnutrition.com. As a leader, we make decisions each and every day. I can recall 2 distinct stories I want to share with you, one involving a friend, one involving me, that really solidified the importance of understanding what type of decision-making style is your go-to compared to what type of decision-making style maybe the situation calls for and how it's linked to your ability to handle stress and move forward. When we were deployed to Iraq, the very first thing we had to do was go down to the port in Kuwait and get all of our vehicles that were shipped over up and running, and then convoy back to our staging area in Kuwait before we convoyed to our operating base in Iraq. And I remember there was a lieutenant who was assigned to be the officer in charge of this specific mission. I went in support. The rest, some of our team went in support as well. So we had enough drivers, we had enough mechanics, we could really get our vehicles fixed up and running. And I just remember, my friend unfortunately got overwhelmed and inundated. There was so many variables of who do I need to contact? Who do I need to connect with? How long do we have access to our vehicles? Are the vehicles operational? Are they missing things? And inevitably, if you've ever been to a port with military vehicles, you knew they didn't come off the ship and stay there long before other people may have borrowed some parts that they needed to get their vehicle up and running. So be that as it may, people started asking questions and questions and questions and questions, and they were waiting for direction because we wanted to get in and get out and get on the road as quickly as possible. And this lieutenant was very much a logical, rational decision maker, but it took them a little bit more time to get to a conclusion because they wanted to have all the evidence and they wanted to be comfortable with the information that they had, and they just got overwhelmed. They hit a point of overwhelm, and I was able to come in, and a few of us were able to come in, pull them off stage, and really provide them the support that they needed to get things moving, to get things going forward without stepping on toes, without taking over or taking charge, and give them the help that they needed. And this, to me, was just a clarifying moment of we've got to be able to apply different decision-making styles to the situation and context that we're in. Otherwise, we may end up inundated, overwhelmed, and just stymied when it comes to making a decision. So the second part, though, story I want to share with you is with me. And I am very comfortable making a gut feel decision. I can make a decision, I can make it quickly, and I can be comfortable not knowing all of the information and moving out. But when you have this decision-making style as your go-to, it has consequences as well. And I was told early on in my career by a senior leader, he gave me a problem set, asked me a question, I made a decision to move out. He'd ask me a follow-up question, I gave him a response, and we moved out. And he told me, Will, stop being so responsive. And I had to ask him, what the heck do you mean by that? Because to me, responsive and moving forward and making decisions kept the team moving. It kept us on pace. It kept us going forward. And he said, stop being so responsive. Take time to think a little bit more about your response. Take time to think who you may want to bring into this conversation. Take time to think what other information may you need to consider that may change your decision. So he was giving me a very good piece of information. And what he was telling me was, take more time. And what that translated to was shift your decision-making to one that is a little bit more rational or a little bit more logical to take in information because you have the time to do it. And that's when it hit me, is I was always in this go mindset of decision-making that my team was running a sprint when we didn't need to be. And if that was impacting me, it definitely had to be impacting them. So two different decision-making styles in two different contexts. In a different context, they both work out very well. In the wrong context, those decision-making styles can stymie and stagnate what needs to get done, as well as start to erode how we react to stress and our mental well-being. So let's talk about and break down the 5 decision-making styles and get into how it relates to your well-being and what you can do to practice a little bit of both, so you don't have just one specific go-to style. You can start to leverage different styles. The first off is the rational style. The rational style is characterized by logic and evaluation of alternatives. So people with this style systematically weigh pros and cons to arrive at their best possible decision. These are the list makers. They want time to think about what's going to work well, what may not work well. They may forecast a few things and talk things through. Rational style is typically not a timely decision, but it's a very good quality decision. The next style we can get into is the intuitive style. The intuitive style is defined by attention to detail and relying on your gut feelings. So this is less about analyzing data and more about trusting your instincts. This is the quick absorption of information, make a decision and move forward. I trust my gut, right? I'm basing a decision on how it feels in the moment, and we're going to move out and move forward. A third decision-making style is the dependent style. This is marked by a reliance on others for advice and reassurance before making a decision. So if you have a decision to be made and you say, I want to run it by this person, or let me run it by that person, and you want to get a second opinion, or you want to get an opinion of, well, what would you do if you were me in this situation? If you lean more towards that, then you probably have more of a dependent style of decision-making. Then comes the avoidance style. The avoidance style tends to postpone or avoid making decisions whenever possible. Postponing decisions can be okay. Avoiding decisions is typically detrimental. And the last decision-making style I want to make you aware of is the spontaneous style. This is characterized by the need to make decisions quickly, get things done fast, often without deep consideration. So it's a little bit, sounds very similar to the intuitive style, but the spontaneous style doesn't have that absorption. You know a decision needs to get made, you get out ahead of it, and you just make it before anybody even brings something up to you. It's almost like you're anticipating what needs to get done and making decisions based on that anticipation along the way. One thing to note is that these decision-making styles, they're habitual. They're learned and through reaction, they're learned through experience, different scenarios, but they're not inherently personality traits. So it's possible to develop more effective styles over time. So as you see yourself in different situations, take time to think about what type of decision-making style matches the situation at hand. Do I have enough information? Do I have time to get more? Is this a decision that needs to get made now, or can I delay it? Does this decision need to be made by me, or can I bring somebody else in for a second opinion or consideration? Think about the style and match it to the context or situation that you're trying to lead and navigate through. And there's been studies, and there's some intriguing correlations between decision-making style and mental health, and I want to share with you some of that research. In the rational style, we might assume that a logical approach leads to better mental health outcomes, but surprisingly, research didn't find a strong link between rational decision-making and improved well-being. Rational decision-making is a very reliable approach that will lead you to sound, quality, effective decisions, but it's not necessarily one that will lead to reduce stress or boosts of happiness along the way. The intuitive style, this one was the surprise. The intuitive style is where people who rely on their gut, they often report better subjective well-being and lower levels of stress and depression. So it might seem counterintuitive, but trusting your instincts can protect your mental health. And it can help relieve decision-making related anxiety. So if you have those decisions and you just avoid making them and you push them off and you postpone them, go using a more intuitive style can actually help get that decision off your plate. It's not hanging over your head anymore, and you can feel good about trusting your and being confident in your decision because you trust yourself and you trust your knowledge and expertise. The dependent style, this one didn't show a strong correlation to mental health. However, it did have a little bit of a relationship between over-reliance on others for advice, and that has a tendency to lead to feelings of helplessness or dependency if you overuse it. If you're always going to somebody else to help you make a decision, you become over-reliant on that person. You may feel less confident about your abilities to make a decision on your own, which then again, it delays the decision being made and it stretches out the time of decision being made to action being taken. And the avoidance style, this style was consistently associated with poor mental health outcomes. Avoiding decisions doesn't reduce stress. It actually has been shown to increase stress. Delaying decisions can cause stress to accumulate, leading to a higher perceived stress and even a physiological stress marker. So think about like elevated cortisol levels, elevated blood pressure, because you have this decision hanging over you and you're just avoiding making it. And then the spontaneous style. People who make decisions quickly and with urgency often report poorer outcomes. And that's where you see the link to mental health is not necessarily in the decision-making style, but the outcome and quality of the decision is less than because you made it so quickly or anticipated a decision being made and you got out ahead of it too quickly, and the outcome isn't what you expected, which then leads to stress, burnout, and regrettable choices over the long haul. So when we think about why does the intuitive style then have such a strong link between decision-making style and our mental health and well-being, the mechanism isn't really clear, but what researchers suggest is that relying on intuition might reduce the cognitive overload. When you constantly weigh every possible option, every possible piece of information, your brain works overtime. So this cognitive load that you're putting on yourself will lead to decision fatigue. On the other hand, when you trust your gut and you pull in just enough information that you need to feel comfortable making a decision and you're trusting your instincts, that can streamline the decision-making process, which leads to less mental taxing, less cognitive load over time, so that you can move through different decisions and move through different scenarios throughout your day. Plus, intuition, it often taps into our unconscious knowledge and the kind of wisdom that we've gathered over time. And you're not necessarily actively thinking about this. You've worked, you've experienced different things, you've accumulated knowledge, you've accumulated expertise. So rather than constant over-analysis of numbers and over-analysis of data points, you can provide a sense of ease and confidence in your choice, which also helps then reduce the stress that you're carrying making a decision. And just on the flip side of that, the pitfalls of the avoidance style. When you avoid making decisions, the stress doesn't disappear. It doesn't go anywhere. It actually increases and compounds over time until that decision is made and off your plate. Imagine delaying a tough conversation or putting off an important business decision. The longer you avoid it, the more it weighs on you. The more it weighs on you, the more it erodes at your mental health and well-being. Some practical tips to help you navigate and balance out and embrace different decision-making styles. If you lean more towards a rational style, try to strike a balance through analysis and trusting your instincts. Overanalyzing, it can lead to that decision fatigue that we don't want to occur. So know when to pull back and trust your experience. Same thing, if you lean towards that intuitive decision-making style, that's good. That's been the one that's linked to the best mental health outcomes. Try to ground your decisions, make them more effectively, gather just enough information to support your gut and continue to move forward. Now, if you lean more towards that dependent style, it's okay to seek advice. It's okay to bring other team members in to get their opinion. But just remember that you're going to take ownership of this decision. It's going to be a collective ownership, and you're seeking people's input. You're not necessarily just going to rely on what they have to say and make a decision based on what they want or what they need. Ultimately, you may be responsible for that decision that you make. And if you lean more towards the avoidance style, start small. Practice making small and minor decisions quickly without information or without an overabundance of information. That's going to help you build your confidence. And then you can work up to bigger decisions where you have now reps and sets of decision making under your belt where you feel more comfortable, you feel more confident making those decisions in real time as opposed to avoiding them. The key takeaway here is that the way you make decisions impacts your well-being. It may impact your mental health at work. And you want to use the power of intuition. You want to use a balance of rational decision-making style with intuitive styles, and you want to try to steer clear from that avoidance style. It's okay to bring people in to ask for advice, but strike a balance and match the decision-making style with the context around you. When you're aware of your natural decision-making style, you can adjust where needed to help reduce your stress now that you're more knowledgeable about different decision-making styles. I want to thank you for tuning in to Leadership Decoded here in the Loop Internet Studio. If you found value in today's episode, like it, download it, and share it with a fellow leader. Share the knowledge and information that you've obtained today so that we can all lead at our very best. If you're an organization who wants to invest in your team's leadership abilities, I want to work with you. I provide hands-on, minds-on learning experiences that will take leadership abilities and turn them into leadership practices the very next day at work. You can connect with me on LinkedIn at Dr. Will Ramey. Check out my website, drwilliamramey.com. On Instagram, you can follow me at Leadership Decoded Pod or email me at will@onthestacks.com. I'm your host, Dr. Will Ramey, and I'll see you the next time you press play.